Hello and welcome to a new Detective Squirrel Investigates video. In this video we will be looking at Ed Gein, the Plainfield butcher. Edward Theodore Gein was born on August 27th, 1906 to alcoholic father George and verbally abusive mother Augusta. Ed had a brother Henry who was some 5 years older. George died in 1940. In 1944, Ed's brother Henry died in mysterious circumstances in a fire near the family farm. Ed reported Henry missing to the police, but then proceeded to lead the police direct to Henry's burnt corpse. But it was Augusta's death in 1945 that had the biggest impact on Ed. Since his father's death and then his brother's, he was very close to his mother. In 1944, Augusta had a stroke and became bedbound. Ed took care of her, but then she had a bigger stroke in 1945 and died. Ed became a hermit. But he was seen as a nice guy, a bit simple, a term that isn't used today, as it could be conceived as derogatory, but it was a common phrase at the time. But the people of the town had often babysit their children. They looked upon him as a bit simple, a bit strange, a nice guy, not dangerous. So it came as a surprise when in 1957 Ed was arrested for the murder of Bernice Warden, owner of the local hardware store. When investigating Bernice Warden's disappearance, blood was discovered on the floor of the hardware store. When questioning Bernice's son, he mentioned that a customer who came in the day before asking about the price of antifreeze. That customer was Ed Gein. But things were about to get a lot creepier. The police entered the farmhouse. They had discovered Bernice Warden's decapitated body in the shed, hanging upside down like a gutted pig. It was night, and the police, with torches, or flashlights for American viewers, and lanterns, entered the house. The house was in disrepair and disarray. They found bowls made from the tops of skulls, a lamp made from skin. Then one of the officers found a brown paper bag with brown hair sticking out, but reaching in and pulling it out, he discovered that the hair was still attached to a face. The face of Mary Hogan, the local tavern owner, who had gone missing 3 years before. After Mary had gone missing, when people gathered in the bar, wondering where Mary had gone, Ed would say, "Mary's over at my place." Everyone thought he was joking. When questioned by police, Ed was very open with his answers, having found so many body parts in the Gein farmhouse, including a number of female faces, nipples sewn together in a chain, furniture covered in human skin, and a suit made from a female chest and separate leggings. Police feared the worst, thinking they had potentially found the nutty cave of a serial killer. But Ed revealed that he would keep a close eye on the obituaries page of the local paper. When there was a burial, he would wait till night and raid the fresh graves for pieces to add to his grisly collections. Some nights he would don his woman's suit and dance in the moonlight. Ed Gein was declared unfit to stand trial due to insanity and was sent to an institution. After almost 20 years, a judge decided that Ed Gein had had enough time in hospital and was fit to stand trial. He stood trial for the murder of Bernice Warden. He did not face trial for the murder of Mary Hogan. There doesn't seem to be any concrete reason why this happened, only a rumour that suggested that it was for cost-cutting reasons. He was found guilty of the murder of Bernice Warden, but was still deemed to be insane at the time of the crime, so he was just sent back to hospital, where he remained until his death on the 26th of July 1984 at 77 years old. But Ed Gein has been the inspiration for more characters and films than any real-life murderer. His relationship with his mother inspired Robert Bloch's character of Norman Bates in his 1959 book Psycho and Alfred Hitchcock's film in 1960. In 1972, Gein was the influence for the film Three on a Meat Hook, and 1974's Deranged, The Confessions of a Necrophile. Also in 1974, Ed Gein was Tobe Hooper's influence for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In 1980, Motel Hell. Possibly most famously in 1991, Ed Gein was the inspiration behind the character of Buffalo Bill in that year's Silence of the Lambs. In 1993, a comedy, some sick people out there, a comedy called Ed and His Dead Mother. In 2013, the film Child of God was also based on Ed Gein's story. There have also been two biopic films. First, Ed Gein was portrayed by Steve Railsback in the 2000 film Ed Gein, also known as In the Light of the Moon. And in 2007, Kane Hodder, known for playing Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series, played Ed Gein in Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield. It is strange to think that such a mild-mannered, unassuming man could be a monster and inspire the creation of other monsters. But there you go. You never can tell. And thank you for joining me in another Detective Squirrel Investigates video. I hope you enjoyed that one. The new series Squirrel Views will be continuing, hopefully on a weekly basis. Hopefully a new Squirrel Views video will be dropping every weekend. That's the plan at the moment anyway. But in the meantime, this is Detective Squirrel out.